This is a statistics past paper question, and this one is from the June 2022 A2 applied paper. This is question 6, and it's a wee bit then about hypothesis testing. So the first one says define the null hypothesis. Now in this particular scenario, the null hypothesis is kind of assuming that there's no correlation between the two things, but the null hypothesis is effectively an assumption made about the value of the population, and then H1 is known as H0, and we assume that's the case, and then H1 I guess but decide then if this null hypothesis doesn't hold. So if you read straight from the mark scheme, it says it is an assumption made about the value of a population parameter which the hypothesis test aims to nullify. Remember then it's known then as H0. Part 2. Over time, a mechanic has noticed that cars with smaller depth of tyre tread seem to consume more fuel per litre. He wishes to use a sample of 10 cars to test this observation. For the sample, the mechanic calculates the product moment correlation coefficient between the depth of tyre tread and the fuel consumption per mile to be R equals minus 0.6172. Explain why a one-tailed test is appropriate in this context. Well, we're looking at the correlation in between. So as the depth of tread in the tyre gets smaller, then the fuel consumption gets higher. So as this one gets smaller, the other one gets higher, and so he believes then there's a sufficient negative correlation. Negative correlation between tyre tread depth and fuel consumption. And he's done the test then, which has given us minus 0.6172, and our sample size then is 10. At the 5% level of significance, the critical value of R is minus 0.5494. Now sometimes we're asked to work this out, so we'll just show you this information on the table if I can find it. So there we are there. So this is the critical values for correlation coefficients. Our sample size is 10, and at the 5% level it's 0.5494. So in our scenario it will be minus 0.5494 to state the critical region for the test. Effectively, if R is less than minus 0.5494, and that's going to be our cutoff region. So what conclusion can the mechanic draw from this information? So R is indeed less than that. It's minus 0.6172. So we would write that then, since R is less than minus 0.5494, there is sufficient evidence at the 5% level to suggest Smaller tread consumes more fuel.